Welcome to the new Wednesday show for the channel, Psychopaths. Thank you very much to my patrons for voting for this show. It's definitely one that I've wanted to check out for quite some time. It seems very interesting. If you check out the Patreon, you can vote in polls, vlogs, get early videos, all that stuff. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, I don't know much about it. I know that the character designs by Akira Amano, who created Katekyo Hitman Reborn, written by Gen Arabuchi. It's, from what I've been able to tell, the premise is similar to Minority Report and the book it's based off of, which is a pretty good movie that I recommend. But yeah, it's always seemed very interesting, and I'm excited to get into it. So yeah, we're going to watch it and discuss the first episode. Got a timer and the subtitles on screen if you want to follow along that way. Or you can pull up the full episode on your own if you want, but either way, we're going to go ahead and get into Psychopaths. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Let's go. In 3, 2, 1, play. Alright, so we have an opening shot of our city. Showing the setting that we're in. I like this music already. Some cop drones, some little automated patrol guys. All right, I like the look of this place. This futuristic sci-fi city. It's looking pretty cool so far. I assume this will be the opening song that'll typically play with the OP. We're just getting it along with some opening scenes here. We've got this guy. And this other guy. All right, villain. The white hair, that smile. So we got this. Whoa, okay. This guy's trying to go after this criminal, and he's fighting a robot. All right. Or a guy in a suit. Okay, then. Bye. Well, shit. Sorry, dude. Damn. You got obliterated. Would have thought the fall would have been fine, but he made sure. All right. This faded rivalry. All right. Kogami Shinya and Makishima Shogo. Well, okay then. It's an interesting start. Here we have Psychopaths. Well, okay then. A little cold open. Crime Coefficient is the title of the first episode. Oh, hi, friendly looking guys. Keep the public calm. Give them cute, big, smiley faces. So here we have main girl. Little holograms projected by the little droid guys. And she is let through into the scene. And we got a Ginoza. Newbie. Tsunemori Akane. Alright, so she's the new one. So we can learn everything through her. Alright, she's getting brought right into it. Again, so that we can too. But really, in the universe, because they're understaffed. Is therapy that scary? Forest green? Alright. So yeah, in Minority Report you had pre-crime. These, like, psychics predicted that people would commit crimes, and they stopped them before it happened. I don't think it's quite the same thing here. They just, like, can measure someone's mental state, and if it seems like they're getting to the point where they'll be a danger to society, they handle it. We'll see. We'll see all the details. A lot of homeless people around. Uniform. Backup has arrived, I guess. Are they not? Okay, so they employ some people who would otherwise be criminals? Interesting. How do they make that kind of decision for who to hire? It's an interesting idea. The enforcers, and one of them being Kogami. And the guy who's into the cute girl. The girl and older gentleman. They seem weirded out that she did that. Hi, buddy. What's up? I'm sure you do. He's not even going to honor him with a response. Alright, the guns. Let's get armed. Probably taking one of those. Is that a fake hand? So yeah, you're giving them the orders. I would think so, yeah. So the gun can sense their level. And it will only fire if it's safe to do so, if they're a target. Okay. So you don't even have to think about it at all. Just the gun just does it. You just got to pull the trigger. Why even have the human element? Can you make it in a way where it just fires immediately upon targeting somebody deserving of it? I guess that would be too... It's probably better not to do that. Alright. The plan is go get the guy. Learn by doing. So it's set to paralyze. I'm sure they do. You'll have to learn what it's like to work with these guys. Okay. Don't, like, tell me to stop, just shoot me. Masaoka Tomomi. Alright, let's see it. Yeah. I don't need a mission briefing. Let's just, go out there and see how this world works. But now look where you are. Trying to keep a low profile. Well, now that you've done this, I mean, look at this poor woman. Alright, he's completely abandoned everything. He's like, I'm gone at this point, so I might as well just do whatever the fuck. This poor lady just got wrapped up in it. Oh, that's nice. No. Oh, so not just a pretty woman, any woman. Okay, buddy, no. I was really hoping like they were gonna bust in there and stop that right then. That was real uncomfortable, and now it seems like it's continuing, and that's real bad. That's fucked. That's real. That's real terrible. Jesus. Anyway, it's a robo hand. Get the gun ready. What is it? Whoa! Easy now. Yeah. Okay. He's just some homeless guy. Good thing the gun keeps that under control. You don't want her to get too freaked out, too trigger happy first day on the job, too scared. She's a little nervous. Good thing the gun can talk to you and calm you down and assure you that it's okay. You never have to wonder. Do I shoot this guy? It just tells you. Seeing what it says to him, over 120? So that's obviously one reason why it wouldn't automatically fire, because you have the enforcers working for them. Could probably program it in a way where it doesn't do that to enforcers specifically, but... Okay. When you're actually on the job, the book learning might not be as helpful. Technology reading everything in your mind. Doesn't sound great. But people don't necessarily operate that way in the field. He's talking about how illogical the whole thing is, so when you actually experience it, it's not the same. Oh, jeez. Yeah, she's not doing so hot. Stop him as soon as possible, please. Over 190. Alright, thank you. Oh, shit. Oh, he just took it. And you just made him angrier. Do it again. This guy's hopped up on shit. Alright. Next level. Using her as a shield. And there he goes. Along with her too, right? That's cool. Alright. Death. Wow, yeah, when you... It's detected by this street scanner, which led to all this. They've decided that it can't be helped, and he's gotta die. Only because he was on stimulants. Like, if the paralyzer had just worked, that would have been the end of it, right? Hers has been raised to look like his? 110. Well, that's nowhere near where yours was, but it's mid-level, I guess. But I don't know what kind of life she led before, but I guess that's just from all the shit that she's going through right now. But, like, I want to know more about this world. It's just stress? It's not like specifically, not necessarily like specific thoughts of committing a crime, but, you know, her stress level from being raped. I really can't wait to learn more. It's pretty interesting. Oh shit, okay. Tossed the gun over to try to calm the guy down. I'm sure he can't use it. Even if he pointed it at somebody who was a target like him, it's not going to let some random guy fire it. Oh, and there we have him. Good move. Okay, so there we go. We saw the other guy pop up in the air, and now we see the close-up, and that was fucking awesome. That was disgusting. I loved it. Holy shit, that's fucking... Yeah. That woman didn't care for it. But yeah, fucking... Jeez, oh man, this lady's much worse now. I gotta go rewind that a little bit. Oh, gross. His hands are fine. If you want fingerprints. Oh yeah, it's please rest at ease. It's okay. Yikes. Apparently she's a target too. Because of all the stress of, you know, almost murder. What's it up to now? Whoa, it popped way the hell up there, and she's looking a little crazy. I cannot blame her. What? That's not cool. That seems absurd. Oh, jeez, this woman. Oh my god. I've never felt so bad for somebody whose name I don't even know in a show. I don't know who this woman is. But my god. Yeah, it has, and Akane has decided not to go for that. I mean, they started, they scanned that guy before he had committed any crimes and led him to all this shit. This is fucking cool. This is interesting. I like it a lot already. Also, that guy exploded real fucked up. That was cool, too. Like, thinking about, like, human psychology and shit. But also, dudes exploded. So, you got both things. I like both. This poor woman. He's just gonna do his job. And she does not want him to. He said if you want him to stop, then to shoot him. You're in charge. She definitely is the victim. At lethal. That's insane. Like, you kill the victim because her stress level got so high that she's just deemed, I guess, just a general threat to society. What did he just say? Like, if you want to stop me, shoot me? What he said before? Are you going to do that? You probably... Okay, cool. Yeah. Don't kill this girl. That's not nice. That's fucked up. She paralyzed him. Okay. He told her to do that, so... I assume that is within her right to do that to the enforcer should she feel the need to. Although he was directly carrying out, like, the orders, so maybe that's not good of her to do that. Whoa! God! Stop! This poor lady! Please! Enough! Well, if you don't throw the lighter away, you're gonna kill yourself. And him. And if you're going to throw it away, throw it. Don't drop it. Okay, can we... Okay, that's fine. Close one. Very careful there. She's... Yes? Okay, well, that's more reasonable. It's still a little harsh. But that's better. Okay, he's going to do it. Harsh, but you know. See, she calmed her down, got her to lower. Hopefully they can go get her in some... therapy or something. They're not going to just throw her in prison. This is nuts. So at least she's alive. But man. And yeah, what a first day. As soon as you get on the job, that fucking happens? This episode was awesome. I really like the look of the city that we've seen so far anyway. Well, there we have it. I think that's about it. See if there's anything else here after this. But yeah, I am very excited to be watching this now. Production IG. Alright, I think we have it. That would be the end of episode 1. So let's talk about it. Alright, the first episode of Psycho Pass. That was pretty damn fantastic. I thought that was great, and I'm already really into it and really excited to watch some more. So yeah, we have this setting where, like I was talking about, you have the movie Minority Report, or the book it's based on. I don't know the differences between those two, but at least in the movie, the whole situation is pre-crime. There are these it's been a long time since I've seen it, but there are these psychics who predict that somebody is going to commit a crime, so the police go and stop them before they do it. And then there's this whole conspiracy where it's like tampered with, and the main character is said that he's going to commit a crime, and he's like, what? No, I'm not. And then he's on the run, and you know, it's all about the corruption and how that system isn't good. This is a similar kind of thing where you have this futuristic sci-fi setting. Really like the look of everything, the whole city and all the technology that we've seen so far. The guns are really cool. I love the animation on them when they transform. And this system seems to just be able to access people's thoughts and read them psychologically and determine if they are latent criminals of varying levels. And when it gets to a certain point, they are to be put down. which is a very, very tame way of putting what happens to them. But that is very interesting, and watching it be executed here, it's already given me a ton to think about, and I can't wait to see more of this system and this society and how the characters react to it. It's really cool. We start with this just opening scene of one of the enforcers, Kogami, with the very villainous-looking Makishima Shogo, and we don't really know much about that, but there's something going on between two of them that we'll get back to at another time. But the main story, we have our main character, Akane, on her first day on the job, experiencing one hell of a first day. There's quite a lot of exposition in this episode, a lot that needed to be explained, but it was all really interesting. And there was still a lot that you get just by watching, like just from the characters, just about the characters or about the world and how it works. A lot of it you're really seeing how it works by just watching it, like Akane herself. It's her first day on the job, so she's new to this, and so are we. We get to see it through her. She's had her training at the academy. She's, of course, trained for this, but being in the field and studying it in books are different things, and the character Masaoka firmly believes that, and he's this older, more experienced guy, and so through him, a character who would think that way, it makes sense that he would tell all this to her. He says, hey, forget all that shit you learned in books, so I'm gonna kind of drop a lot of exposition on you, trying to get her prepared for all this. But yeah, we learn a lot by just watching it happen and going through this day on the job, and anything that's just exposited to us was so interesting that I don't care. I don't care that it's just being exposited to me. I wanted to know, and it was really fascinating learning about all this stuff. In the past, I've heard people say about this series that just the conceit is something that they couldn't get into, because just one of the few things that I knew about this show is just what it was about, how this social system works. And I've heard people say that they couldn't get into the show because they couldn't see something like that ever happening, which I don't really understand that complaint. Like, I guess if that's how you feel, if it's just so weird to you that you can't watch it, okay, but I don't know, when I see a show like this, I never think that they're saying that this could happen. This is just a world in which it did. Like, hypothetically, if this happened, if this world existed, here's what it could be like, and a story that could take place within it. And regardless of if it could happen, it's a really interesting idea. It's an interesting world. It's an interesting system. So yeah, I can't wait to see more. I like the visuals, the animation, the art style, character designs, and everything. People explode and it's fucking nasty and awesome. I was saying during the reaction, I really like all the things that this show is making me think about, but also he frickin' blew up. So, I'll take both of those things. If we can get some cop action and people exploding and the guts are going everywhere, that's cool to mix that in too. But yeah, this is very interesting already, because you have this guy who seems to have never committed any crimes in his life, but he is scanned on the street one day randomly, and this incites this whole horrible chain of events, which ends up with somebody exploding, somebody being traumatized for life, and just all this fucking shit that happens because this guy was spotted as a latent criminal, despite the fact that he hadn't actually done anything. And this guy, his crime coefficient was too high, his hue was too cloudy, so clearly, he apparently had enough thoughts or enough of a demented mind, or however exactly it's judged, to where they deemed him a threat, a latent criminal, despite not having actually done anything yet, which is super interesting. That is super fucked up from the point of view of our society. Part of me thinks I would be curious to know more details about how this kind of thing came about, but part of me thinks you shouldn't even go there, because I don't know if that's the kind of thing that you can make sense. Like the movie The Purge and that whole series, that's the kind of thing that just wouldn't happen. And then I remember they were making the new one called The First Purge, and it was going to show how the purge came about, and I was like, why Why would you try to show in detail how this thing came about when its existence doesn't even make any sense? So, like, maybe it's best to leave it ambiguous how it got this way, and let's just focus on how people feel about it now that it is this way. But, like, for this society, if this is the system they have in place, maybe that's because it's what is working the best for them, like the best for the highest number of people. Like for somebody like this, who's not quite a normal person, even though he hasn't gone off the deep end and committed crimes, because his mind isn't exactly the same as everybody else's, he is totally shafted and explodes. So he's just totally on the other end, the other extreme. But then for everybody else, for like the majority, they're all okay, so it's fine to let those other people fall through the cracks and just die for the sake of the greater good, you know? I'm not gonna wait until he possibly commits a crime. Just the fact that he has the mind state where he maybe could means that we're gonna take him in and stop him. We're gonna violate what we would consider to be in our society his basic human rights for what they perceive to be the greater good of society. And watching that happen is just super interesting. It's super fucked up, just watching this society and this system that operates under this whole different set of values and rules than what we have, and it'll be really cool just seeing more of it and how it works and what kind of people are judged and how. And I want to know a lot more, and I want to see how people feel about it and what kind of people they encounter on the jobs. It'll be really cool. And then like the really shitty part really sinks in with the woman who he has taken hostage, and it's really brutal and fucked up, and they don't shy away from that at all. It's really uncomfortable to watch him terrorizing this woman, and she goes through all this shit, and she's beaten and bloodied and all this horrible stuff, and then she is a target too, just from all of the stress of it. We don't really know much about her as a person, but presumably she's not some horrible criminal, but she's so freaked out by this whole situation, which is just made worse by the fact that he blows up and gets all his blood all over her. She's losing her mind, and that alone is enough. So it's not even just like specifically having thoughts in your mind about wanting to commit crimes or anything. It's just general mental state, it seems. Like I said, I really want to know more about the specifics, but it just seems to be general things like your stress level that gets too high, and they say, oh, well, you could potentially do harm to somebody, you could potentially be a threat to the good of greater society, so we're just going to kill you. You're the sacrifice for the greater good. It goes from, paralysis to that real quick, and that's just so horrible. And we have Akane who, now that she's out here experiencing this system for herself, she's like, oh shit, I don't agree with this, has a hell of a first day on the job, stops it from happening. Luckily, she's able to pretty easily and quickly get this girl to start to calm down, just to get her hue to a less cloudy level, get it to a lower number to where the lethal force is no longer required, and they can just paralyze her. So, if that's an option, that's the kind of thing that you should do. You should try to help people rather than just go straight to killing them, especially if they were victims of horrible things like this. She was like, wait, we're killing the victim. She's the victim. What the hell are we doing? And like everybody else, again, if this is how society is functioning, if this is how people are generally thriving, we haven't seen like all the inner day-to-day workings of this city, but if society is built around the system, then presumably that's because they think that's what works best for the society. So most of the guys employed here are probably just like, yeah, this is just how it is, this is what we have to do, this is how it works. But she's gonna be like, no, I don't think we should do that. We should try to get them help. He can so easily talk her down to where her hue is less cloudy, then that's the kind of thing that we need to be doing. Lowered it so that she would only be paralyzed. Hopefully from there she can get some assistance. I don't know what the next step in the process is for her from there, but to have our final shot of Akane in the episode be her sitting down there like that, just like clearly having a ton on her mind, being like, holy shit, what was all that I just went through? Probably not at all what she expected for her first day on the job, her looking pretty traumatized by the whole thing, shows the struggle that she's going to be going through and how we're going to try to change or reform this system. How other people feel about it, how she might convince people to change their minds. And you've got these people, the enforcers, who are people who had clouded psychopasses and are allowed to work for them, like, go hunt these latent criminals with latent criminals of our own, which is a really cool idea. I want to know how that works, like how they specifically decide who to allow into this program. What about these people causes them to be that way? Like, she pointed it at Masaoka and it gave his crime coefficient, and she's like, oh, but he seems like a perfectly normal, just old guy. And so we just got Kogami, like, main dude, Masaoka, the elderly mentor guy, the guy who's into cute girls, and then the girl. Don't know too much about them yet, but yeah, like they seem to not be they seem to be looked down on pretty heavily, at least by this guy Ginoza, saying they're not human, they just use them or whatever. He clearly prides himself on, like, being a normal, upstanding citizen, and they're just looked down upon. I don't know if that's generally how they're viewed by most people, but I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, Akane, she just bows to them and is asking them for advice and everything. She's just treating them like humans, and they're under her control. Kogami even says, hey, shoot me if I'm doing something you don't want. That's within your right. Go ahead and do it. And he even seems to mouth that to her at the end. I'm imagining that's what he said, because he was going to do his job and go through with it, because that's just the job, and he was going to kill the girl. So I'm imagining what he mouthed to Akane was what he said before, like, if you disagree with me, then fucking put me down. So I'm curious about what his mindset is for this whole thing, because he clearly was going to do it. But if that was the case, then also part of him maybe knew that it was wrong. He was going to do it anyway just because it was the job, but he was willing to, be stopped. This is a fascinating system and world. I cannot wait to see more of it. It's really cool already. Again, this all started because this guy was just, like, randomly scanned in the street, and he hadn't done anything yet. He had consumed drugs, and I guess that's it. These stimulants that he took. I don't know exactly when he took those, but either way, he even says, like, oh, I'm screwed now. Like, my life is over just because of that. So now I don't care anymore. I'm just going to do whatever I want. Like, if they're going to label me this latent criminal just from this random scan when I haven't even done anything, I might as well do something. If my life is already going to be over because of this scan, because of what they think I'm going to do, well then fuck it, I'll just go all out and do it. So, their system led to him doing this stuff in the first place. But I guess in their minds, like, they assume he would have done this stuff eventually anyway. So stopping him now, as early as they can, is just what they were trying to do. Like, their system caused this crime to happen. But it's just, what they consider to be the greater good, I guess. It's really cool. I can't wait to see more. I've said that many times, but it's the truth. Yeah, the Dominators are really cool. Like, they can only use them themselves. Can't just be used by some random guy. Good move at the end. Teamwork, tossing it over to him to distract him, and then the other guy comes in and does the shit. Paralysis, lethal mode. Good thing you have those distinctions. And the lethal mode, oh my god. Yeah, I mean, I guess the logic behind it must just be that they want it to be a certain kill, and they want it to be immediate, and that'll do it for you. A bullet, you could shoot somebody in the stomach with a bullet and they might not die right away, they could still commit more crime. You can make it like a short kill thing like a poison, but it might not be fast acting enough and they could still do something else in the meantime. But with that, it's pretty instantaneous and it's certain. So I guess that's the reason why. The real reason why is probably because the people making the show thought that it would be fucking awesome, and it is. I don't know if it makes the most sense as a way to dispose of people, because as you can clearly see here, somebody who witnesses that might be so fucking traumatized that they now need to be put down too. But again, it seems like they're willing to make those kind of sacrifices for the greater good, and if this thing will just kill someone instantly and certainly, then it's a sacrifice they're willing to make. But even if you want to say it's overkill, I don't care, because it's just fucking cool, and I'm willing to go with it because of that. But yeah, I was saying during the reaction, like, why do you even need the human element? It's really cool how it can just read somebody's number, their psychopaths, and be like, okay, this person is this. They're normal, can't shoot them, safety's on, and you can't do anything about that. And if this person needs to be paralyzed, it'll turn that mode on. If they need to be killed, it'll turn that mode on. And there you go. But it's still up to the person themselves to actually pull the trigger. And that makes sense because you do have like the enforcers who have their cloudy hues and whatnot. It could probably be programmed in some ways to, you know, not recognize them if they wanted it to, but that really wouldn't work. Or they can make it so that, like, with them, it doesn't go off on its own. You have to pull the trigger for them, but I realize why that's just an extra bit of work that you don't need in there. Plus, if you just, you know, making the decision when to pull the trigger is the best choice. It's better that you don't have it be a fully automated thing, but it was just an interesting thought that I had while I was, you know, hearing this thing explained to me. It's really cool, like how it basically just tells you what to do, but, you know, you're gonna have somebody like Akane who disagrees with it on some levels, and she's gonna have to try things like talking, trying to rationalize with people. What do you do in certain situations where it's telling you to blow this guy up and you don't want to do it? Like, what other choices are you going to have when, like, the gun is just telling you to do that and you can't get it to change its mind? Like, what other course of action do you take? I don't know. I can't wait to see what she does in this system. So yeah, I can't wait to see more of this world that essentially operates with thought crime. And I love how Masaoka was saying, like, this whole place is just illogical. You know, this whole system can read your thoughts, and these people still do these bad things to each other, so that's why you just gotta get out here and experience what it's like for yourself. And yeah, like, I mean, the system that's probably designed to bring the most amount of good to as many people as possible, like, hey, make sure you stay within the bounds of what society deems acceptable, or else very easily you could be arrested or killed. But that just makes it so much harder on, like, the fringe group of people who are not in the exact circle of normalcy. Like, where in our society, those people could still, like, live a life, just maybe not an exactly normal life, and possibly could end up being a detriment to society. But, you know, we value their rights as people and wait till we actually have reason to act on them. Here, they just will sacrifice those people for the greater good of society. And they're saying you shouldn't have all these bad thoughts and shouldn't be this way, but, like, the fact that the system was this way is what drove this guy to be like this in the first place. Like, he didn't seek help, he didn't seek therapy because he didn't want to be judged by the system at all. He didn't want that to take that chance, so he avoided seeking any kind of help, which just made it worse. And then the random scan happened anyway, and that poor woman, hopefully she'll be okay in the long run. But yeah, I can't wait to see how Akane deals with all this going forward. I don't know if there's going to be any talk about this case because, you know, of her shooting Kogami the way that she did. That is within her right. She's allowed to do that to the enforcers. But since he was going to be following the orders of the Dominator, of Sybil, maybe she'll be reprimanded for doing that, or maybe it'll be okay because she talked her down to that other level and then they obeyed the Dominator. I don't know. I don't know if they will see it as being okay, what she did. If there will be anybody else who has the same mindset as her, or if she'll have to convince them, and how she'll act going forward, being somebody who's clearly in disagreement with how this works. It'll be really cool. So let me know your thoughts on this episode. There's a lot to talk about already with just the first episode. I can't wait to see more. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you enjoy. Check out all the links down below. And I will see you next time.